school. That was an Igbo school, and I learned Igbo language. My mother and her husband moved out, and I was sent to live with somebody else, and I had to move to St. Luke's School, which was a Yoruba school, and I learned Yoruba. During my time in Jos, growing up, it's not where you come from, but where you live. Are you a barrack boy? Barrack boy? Because we need a barracks, they fight a lot. Are you from class quarters? Are you from Chikingeri? That's how we grew up. And I was, fortunately, one time a class quarter boy, and later on a Chikingeri boy. When independence was approaching, then modernization started. It was then we began to see difference. The pyramids of cursing Gannot disappeared. Till date, nobody has told us why. But I believe that it was the policy of government to divide us that was responsible for these pyramids to go away. Now, what is a policy? I read a book on Lugard's amalgamation, and he told the story of what it was, in fact, it was what he said, the Secretary of State said to the club, that he had licensed the well-conducted youth of the North and the Southern lady of Means into a marriage. And he hoped that they would form a great federation, even though he wasn't too sure whether they would form a great trust. Don't forget, it was a monogamous marriage. Well-conducted youth of the North and the Southern lady of Means. But eventually in 1937, South was split into two, into East and West. That was the beginning of our real problem. Why was the South split and the North was not split? Well, I'm sure the university people around will tell us. But I tried to find out. I can't find any reason except to concoct one myself, that they wanted a weaker South and a stronger North. I'm not too sure I'm correct, but logic tells me that that's what happened. Then suddenly you find a situation where we are now 36 states, we have the Federal Capital Territory, then we have 387 ethnic nationalities. We are completely divided. But look at America. America, they have all the tribes in the world. But you can see the way they react and see what is happening there today. So it is my view that had the military, my apologies to the general, not suspended political parties and ethnic association, we should have been much better. Perhaps we would have moved from the third world to the first world. But the decree that ban started by Rosie, the one did not set it aside, continued, and when they decided to have political parties, they decided on the shape. And I'm not too sure in making it clear today that some people don't want democracy in Nigeria. Don't be deceived. That is the problem. And if you look at our history, you'll be sure that it started off in a situation where the British officers, after Lugard retired, he still went to school to go and lecture, not about democracy, lecture them that it is the traditional institutions that will eventually rule, and their children and children's children. Today, it will appear that that's the reason for our problem. Had the military not banned political parties, possibly did not ban ethnic association, because even Afenifere was banned at one time. And I remember when we were holding our own meeting in Benin those days, we start by singing Stand Up for Jesus, which have not been done. But otherwise, as for Benin, it was impossible. Now, what has that done? It's split us completely out of place. How do we reconcile this? It's in the hands of the Indigo and the Yorubas. I have two great friends among the Indigos, and I have a great friend among the Yorubas. I won't name them. But I can see that they cannot isolate themselves from the prejudices of their own people, which was concocted, it was manufactured for us, not by Yoruba or Indigo, but by those who want to make us perpetual servants, if not slaves. And we bought it hook, line, and sinker. For instance, secession was used as a tool to placate the North, so that even though their women could not vote, had no franchise, they would have the same number of seats with those of us who's both male and female. So for purposes of numbers, they are equal, because if we don't agree, independence will not be taken. And Zeke and Awolowo started off. But fortunately for us today, we have to go back to what happened. What was the first party? It was the NCNC, founded by Herbert Macaulay and Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe. When Macaulay died, he was very ill, in fact, in the North, and they had to put him in a train, and by the time he came back, he refused to go into a hospital or go for treatment in the North. He wanted to be brought back to Lagos. When he came to Lagos, he died 6 subsequently. If the process of the first party had been such that they all agreed that we must go, I'm sure that here, but we would have been in a different place today. So what do we do in the circumstance? One, Igbos and Yorubas must reconcile. What are you fighting over? The wild wealth have been drilled for so many years. You negotiated it. We minorities have no chance. I was in Port Harcourt when Ken Saro-Wiwa was executed. And I know the feelings at the time. He's a minority man. And also how they corrupted our traditional rulers. From nowhere they gave them, was it 5% of all the money for the local government for them. To do what? To keep quiet and to do precisely what some of our traditional rulers did when the British were in charge here. We need to reverse it. So whatever program you have, you're thinking about Afenifere in the future, please, the money from the Midwest, from the Delta to the Edo, has a lot to do with the cocoa. And don't cut us out. We are still very much part of the cocoa house. Whatever the Biafran people think they want to do, they didn't treat us of the minorities very well. Eyoita was not treated nicely, but it was a period at the time. Now we have education, now we have technology, all steering us It is time now we unite. Now, what I have done in my paper is to recommend, because I was part of those who supported new breed politicians. I even had to look at the Constitution to get it drafted. But there was something basically wrong. If you take a gun into a man's house and you threaten him and he surrenders and he takes everything, your reasoning is blood. You cannot do justice to that same person you have thrown him away from his house. You must always see yourself as boss or master or slave. So when soldiers tell us that they will now provide new breed Nigerians, no. They've ended up providing for us new breed Nigerians who think the way of soldiers. That's why I'm not an economist, but I'm sure that economists will tell you the way we do our business. That's why it's very corrupt, because we are very corrupt, because corruption is breeding. I'll give you a small example. I was a police officer. I was recruited as a cadet inspector in my colonial service. I finished at Southern Police College, Ikeja, in 1959. At independence, I was in charge of the airport to bring people in, assign car to them, and at about 20 minutes past 10, we closed the airport and then came to K4. I used to live in First Road there and watch the independence celebration. Flag lowered, new flag up. It was beautiful. But sitting down today, I'm sure, I wonder, was this all that Zeke fought for? Was it all that Awolowo fought for? Was it all that the Sardauna fought for? Why did we come into this? First, one issue cannot be right and wrong at the same time. You cannot say, and that's what coup is. When you stage a coup, you lose, they kill you. You win, they honor you. There's something wrong with that. I'm not suggesting that we should wake up and all those who participated in the coup should be arrested and brought together. No, on the contrary, I want them to plead guilty and ask for forgiveness. So I will plead with Yorubas. You got the civilization first. The Yoruba axis of Abeokuta, Lagos, and you had the advantage, even though the white people got to Calabar and Asaba. It was Yoruba here in Lagos that, so when Lagos is now being done, my daughter was born in Highland maternity, but she's not a Lagosian. Why? Is that progress? No, it isn't. It's not progress. So the Yorubas have to sit down and understand that we are all human beings and we are weak. That the larger we are in Nigeria, the better for all of us. In fact, we should be thinking how the Republic of Benin and so forth will join us. We see how the other people in the north will, Naija, this will join us so that we can have a strong, not how we will break away. So please, I plead with those in authority. Release Kanu. What do you derive from it? I will also plead with them that, please, if you are from River State, I beg you, tell your brother or your sister that democracy is the best thing that has helped the world in the last 70s, so many years since democracy was invented. Returning back to the old age of administrator will not improve us. So please do that. In Igbo, yes, we all know the weaknesses. I'm a weak person, we all have weaknesses. when we were in the police, the man who knows how to go on the road gets a lot of money, and those who don't know how to do that are also happy. The man who gets is happy, the man who does not get is happy, because it's all a game of the mind. It's a game of the mind. You decide for yourself what you think is happiness. If stealing is happiness, then you go stealing. If honesty is happiness, then you are honest. So, in any case, where do we go after? How would you be remembered? I'm not a pastor. No, I'm not a pastor at all. I'm a Catholic, but I'm not a pastor. So, there was never any quarrel between myself and my friend, who makes a lot of money, who marries 10 wives. I have only one. We've been married for 63 years. We look after ourselves like two old people. So I will plead with you major ethnic nationality. Hausa Fulani was an invention of the British. There was no Hausa Fulani tribe in Nigeria. They were going to, the colonial people were going to introduce us into democracy, so they had to have one democracy. And that's how Hausa Fulani came about. I'm grateful to Fulani man who recently called his clan and said, listen, we've had enough of this nonsense. Can you stop it? So I'll plead with you, Afenifere. I would have loved if after I've listened to everybody before I say, but I'm pleading. I'm here to say that the greatest harm which the military did to Nigeria was the question of banning political parties and associations. And also to tell you, when you're ready, about what the first political party in Nigeria, first one, Awolowo belonged to it. H.O. Davis, I took over from H.O. Davis. After H.O. Davis died as the director of health, I became appointed director. So I know this history is something to do well. And I saw independent. So I will plead with you in modifying your program that you've had enough. They've taken enough of the oil. So let's look at it from the point of view. And when you sit down to decide what you want to do, make sure you don't talk about breaking Nigeria or talking about Yoruba elite. My father, Adu Asemota, was an action group man. My uncle, Doubting, who gave her the first African UAC manager, became the first Benin senator, was an action group. You want to cut us off and make it a Yoruba affair? Please don't. Thank you very much. God bless.